All right. Well, welcome everyone for another issue of Red Valkyrie. Why do you laugh every time?
Because all right is
Literally.
the first word out of your mouth every time. All right.
All right. What? Oh my gosh. See, I'm sorry. I
Do
apologize
over.
already to William. I'm sorry that this is happening and we're like 27 seconds into this freaking broadcast. Anyway.
It's fine. It's fine. Just start over.
So, of course, I have the absolutely terrible pain in my ass co-host, Cyborg Valkyrie.
Hello.
Who isn't going to say hi?
I'm saying hi. I'm waving my arms like a rubber inflatable guy.
And then I am, of course, your host, your other host, Shae Zombie, and we are joined by William for Ailsa Dark?
Ailsa Dark.
Ailsa Dark. Oh my gosh, I
Ailsa
swear.
Dark.
Ailsa.
Ailsa, Alyssa, Ailsa, they all work.
Oh, goodness.
Just pronounce it like A-Y-L-S-A. Ailsa.
I like it. Ailsa Dark.
There you go.
And
perfect.
we have attempted to bring some of the Ailsa Dark flavor tonight.
Yeah, good.
It's kind of there. You know what? It's as good as I got. But you drew her way better for sure. So without further ado, let's just go straight into your pitch. You can go ahead and let us know all about Ailsa Dark.
Okay, right. We live in our world, our normal human world. But there is another world. It's called the other world, funnily enough. And in that world, all the creatures of myth and all the stuff you've heard about in fairy tales and horror stories, they live, they exist. But they're beginning to bleed through into our world. And somebody's got to police the border between that other world and our world and make sure that they keep the peace. And that person is Ailsa Dark.
Dang. All right. So she's like a badass cop between two different worlds.
Kinda, yeah. She's kind of a badass cop, but she's also kind of like a friend to many of these creatures. So they've set up home in our world, and they're kind of hidden from the general populace. But Ailsa knows all about them, and she kind of like keeps them in order, and also sort of looks after them as well. Oh. So that's kind of like the idea behind it. And I wanted to create a character that had some of the feel of an old 1970s supernatural sort of heroine or hero for the old kind of Marvel comics or the Warren comics from the 70s and the early 80s.
Oh, wow. Man.
Right. No, it definitely has that kind of 80s vibe to it, especially like seeing this pretty girl that isn't necessarily like super skinny and delicate because she's kind of, I mean, I wish that this was around when I was growing up because I'd be like, that's like me. Like,
yeah, I'm kind of
strong.
It's like there's three faces to the character of Ailsa Dark, and one is this one here, which is you're introduced to in the second issue, and it's kind of like a dream state Ailsa. It's kind of like the ultimate badass Ailsa Dark that exists in a state beyond reality. Nice. And there's also Ailsa when she's going out and fighting. This is her here, and fighting against the other world creatures like ghouls and zombies and werewolves. And she's got her motorbike, which now that I've drawn it a couple of times, I wish I'd given her a scooter or a skateboard or something else to move about on, not a motorbike. Even a horse would have been better. A motorbike page after page. So I think I'm going to blow it up in issue 2. But she's got a motorbike, a couple of Glocks, and a little network of friends that help her fight against the evil that's coming from the other world.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah. And her, it's not so much a secret identity, but it kind of is, because I like the idea of a character having a secret identity. That's kind of gone out the window these days. Nobody seems to bother much about that. So her secret identity is to be a late night YouTube hostess.
Oh, well
yeah,
then.
There you go. Yeah,
I already love her.
And she presents a show where she manages to show public domain movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and people will tweet about them, and they'll go into social media and they'll either slag them off or defend them. But at the same time, it's a cover, and she gets information about what's actually happening in the other world. So when somebody's tweeting about werewolves and people just think they're nuts, they're actually tweeting about werewolves. That's the kind of cover for it.
Oh, I get it, and that's what these film strips are about. Is her YouTube show.
Yeah, the first issue starts with her just finishing off showing Plan 9 from Outer Space. And it's quite obvious that she shows this and a lot of Ed Wood movies. One, because of public domain, and two, because Ed Wood actually is going to be involved in a future issue of Ailsa Dark. So I want to actually tie what I'm doing with a comic into the kind of like the 1950s Hollywood B-movie production. So it's going to be part of it.
That's super
really cool.
awesome.
Yeah. I love that throwback. That's so neat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and if you could put any of Ed Wood in there, that's terrific.
Yeah. Like a bit of Ed Wood in the old Ailsa Dark. So I do.
I love it.
I've worked out. This is going to be 4 issues, and in this campaign, you get the first 2 issues, and once the 4 issues are finished, that's the first story of Ailsa Dark told, and I've got 3 stories designed. And one is going to be based around flashbacks in the 50s. And that's going to be the second story, and it's going to be called Bride of the Monster. So after this campaign, and that will be the second Ailsa Dark story, which again is an Ed Wood movie. So Ed Wood is going to be quite important to that second story. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm not going to ask for spoilers, but I'm dying to know if Ed Wood is like a supernatural creature or something, because he's just so weird.
I can't. I've put quite a lot of stuff out. The first issue was done because I've got a completed first issue, which if on the videos that I've got on my YouTube and also on the Indiegogo campaign, you'll see I've got a wee half-minute video where I flick through the first issue. I had it published and sold at Scottish conventions this year, just to kind of get a kind of like a mailing list together and get people interested in it. And there it is there. And
I can show it, it just won't show sound.
Yeah, just turn the sound off. And they had the whole idea behind doing the first issue was to just kind of show people, because I'm nobody as far as most people are concerned on the internet, just to show people that this is what I do. I can do it. I can put together a good product and get it out there. So the second issue is nearing completion. I'm going to be spending all of this month and a wee bit of December kind of like drawing and finishing that. And,
wow, it is so much bigger.
It is a lot bigger.
It's like a UK size, so it's A4 size. It's 36 pages per issue. So it's kind of like the comics and the magazines you used to get in the UK. They were always a larger format. And I like the idea of that because I've designed it in such a way, if I wanted to shrink it down to a smaller size, it also works that way. So I'm working my lettering so that it works at a smaller size and at this kind of traditional UK size.
Oh, I see. So that kind of explains the space that you have around your bubbles. And I was curious about that. But yeah, that really lends itself to being able to shrink things down.
I'm designing it because in my head, I can imagine it as a kind of like a European small hardcover as well. So in the future, that could be something that I could do with it. You know, once I've got all 4 issues done, bring them together and
make a graphic novel.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like
that's really excellent foresight.
That really is. No, that's and just seeing the difference between A4 paper versus like standard US sized and everything, it really is quite a difference as far as sizing goes.
Yeah, because I like to design the comic around lots of splash pages and double page spreads because I love my Jack Kirby, you know. But and as just A4 lets you kind of take that. People talk about, you know, sort of like big screen sort of storytelling in comics. You know, I'm thinking IMAX. I'm going bigger, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Well, the cool thing is I feel like you probably get to see a lot more of, usually when people are making art for comic books, there's so much detail and then you don't get to see all of it because it's either shrunk down in a smaller panel or it gets covered up by a word bubble because that's what had to happen. But if you're sitting here with A4 size paper, you have a lot more room and there's a lot more where you can do a couple extra spaces and get a little bit more of that detail in there, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It allows you as well, kind of like when you're bleeding off the page as well. It just seems that much more sort of like immersive, you know? That's the word people like to use, isn't it? Yeah, a bit more immersive.
Yeah, and when you have splash pages like this, I mean, you're really getting a bunch of extra inches off the side and top. That's really cool.
No,
yeah,
it feels more complete.
Yeah, well, I wanted the city to be another character, feel like a character in the actual story. So it's set in Glasgow, which is my home city, and I wanted that people to get a feel for what Glasgow was throughout the stories. So it was kind of important to me. It starts off kind of like a noirish novel with the narration and the setting and a wee bit of exposition just to get you in there, but. That's kind of like important because the story's told from 3 different points of view. So I've got 3 narrators that run through the 4 books and I differentiate between them by the colour of the text and the boxes that I'm using. So Ailsa Dark narrates. Umair Nawaz, who's her partner in crime, as it were, he narrates as well. And there's a 3rd narrator who talks to the reader and is very kind of chatty and kind of as if they know us. So they're a bit like a Stan Lee person, they'll make jokes and so on. So it was kind of like I wanted to tell the story, but give the story 3 different points of view. So it's taken quite a while to kind of work that out and to make it work. And again, larger format allows me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is really, it looks like a really nice product. It's really exciting that you already have like a first issue done. And second issue's almost done, and that's really cool.
And the first issue is kind of a collector's item in a way, because I'm remastering it for the Indiegogo. So this page is, because I had to get it done to go to the convention, I was forced to finish it at a level where I was happy with it, but I knew I could take it a wee bit further. So I've been doing that as well. I've been remastering the first issue and taking things just a step further with it.
Do you mean like colors, or what are you doing with
it? Well, that page there, for instance, didn't have lightning and that's page here with the houses. This is the first page, and it introduces the Bampot boys. The Bampot boys are a couple of Scottish brothers, the Anderson brothers, whose pastimes include torture, cannibalism, and karaoke. And
sorry, the combination.
Yeah, and this particular scene here is them torturing somebody. So I didn't want to show them torturing somebody. So I just had the dialogue of them doing it, and then they get a phone call during this torture. So originally this was just a drawing of the houses, but in the remastering I've added rain and lightning and a couple of little effects and just kind of like tarted it up a wee bit, and maybe corrected the odd typo as well. I might have done that, but yeah, the whole idea of this was just to kind of like lure people in safely before they are fully exposed to what the Bampots can do. So
I just have to say that I had to look up that word in preparation for this show just so I knew what you had done.
That's good. I've given so many explanations as to what the Bampots are. I think I've said I should have just made them up every time, just made a new explanation.
That'd be hilarious.
The shortest definition I've found is idiot.
Idiot, aye. But I think a Bampot is a special kind of idiot. They're kind of like an idiot supreme. That's what a Bampot is. Kind of like, imagine you were out for a night and somebody didn't want to get a taxi and wanted to walk home, and then decided when they were walking home they were going exactly the wrong direction. That kind of person would be a Bampot. Yeah.
So just so our audience knows, Shae told us a lovely story about when she was stationed in England about, a coworker who decided to be horribly drunk and walk towards base in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's a Bampot.
So the next time I run into him, if I ever do again, that is the first thing I'm going to say to him.
You can shorten it and just say, "You're a Bam."
Oh, I love it.
And he'll think it's a compliment.
He will, especially if you smile.
He won't, because I'm saying it. He'll look at me and be like, I feel like somebody told you what that is. I'll be like, it happened. All right. Well, this
is the area that I've drawn there. That's a part in Glasgow that shows you the hospital in Glasgow and also the necropolis, the big graveyard in Glasgow. And of course, they're right next to each other, so it's all life and death in one place.
They do that a lot.
Perfect for like a metaphor for everything that's happening in this story, because a lot of what happens in the story takes place in this necropolis, this big graveyard in Glasgow.
Really short trip for if the hospital screws up.
Yeah, it's nice. You're in hospital. You're looking at the window, and there you go. You know,
that can't be good for people that are like potentially terminally ill. They're like, I've got a really bad disease, and I may or may not make it. And outside my window, I can see my plot.
It's like advertising. Yeah, buy your plot here.
Oh.
And there's a cathedral there as well, so it's got everything in the one place. That's
my goodness!
Perfect setting for a battle between good and evil.
I mean, that's really, really prominent though when you go over to England and Scotland and Wales and all that. That you've got a church that has a very extensive graveyard in the background. And usually there's not too far before you're hitting some kind of a hospital or nunnery that was used as a hospital or something.
Yeah, we're practically falling over nunneries over here.
You poor man.
No, honestly, if you ever get a chance to go to England or Scotland, like I loved Scotland more than England, but if you ever get a chance to go to either one, you have to go and check out some of the ruins and the monasteries and because they're just so, like, if you want to learn to tell stories, go hang out there for an afternoon. You will have 50 stories that'll just be circling in your head because there's so much history and there's so much, like, if you're into supernatural shit, there's some supernatural stuff going on in some of those places.
Yeah.
So, William, just to apologize in advance, if I ever go to Scotland, I'm bringing a katana and I'm going to be the asshole tourist yelling, "There can be only one," as I run through Scotland.
Oh my goodness.
But you have to do it with a kind of half French, half Scottish accent.
There can be only one. Yeah, whatever
that accent was, you have to do it that way.
Used, yeah.
See, that's why I can't do it. I can't do accents.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's go over your tiers real quick.
Before we bring Shae to tears, let's go over your tiers.
Right.
Well, okay. The Dark Deluxe tier is that's you get the first issue, the second issue is signed, so that's 72 pages of awesomeness. You get a limited edition print of that's I'm only going to get 75 of these printed, so as many of them go in this campaign as they go, and the rest will disappear if I end up selling them at convention, and that was the last time this print's actually printed.
So wait, is this the one where she's sitting all sexy with like the skull head?
No, that's from the comic. There's a good chance that's going to be a print at some point. I'm just saying. Yeah, but that's not going to be a limited edition one, so that'll be one that people can buy at some point, I think. But yeah, no, the limited edition one is further down on the big scroll. It's Ailsa holding two guns, and she's flanked by Hedologus, the banter demon, and a werewolf.
So I'm going to borrow one from boy's back and scrolling down some more.
Yeah.
Well, that's a Bampot, by the way, you just went by.
Where? This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He does look like he's a Bampot, now that I know this term.
He can rubberize his body because he ate somebody that had that power, so he now has it.
Oh, gosh. So cool.
There you go. That's the limited edition print.
This is what I pulled up when I was trying to do my hair and makeup. I was like, this is the best shot of her for me to figure out how to do this.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. The zoom is really interesting. Because the image is so big.
Oh, gotcha.
Since I'm sharing the tab, I'll just say when I right-clicked and opened the image in a new tab, it was just her boobs.
Okay.
Well, you've got to have a focal point in every image, so you know.
Right. I mean, and why would you not pick the best focal point? No, I really, really like this print. I think it's really cool, especially with her holding 2 Glocks off to the side, and she's in like this little corset, and it's like super girly, but also really deadly.
Yeah, because that's her hostess outfit for when she's presenting the show. So I wanted something that was like a Vampirella or Elvira type, vibe about it, without actually copying either of those. Yeah.
So I'm just going to switch layouts for 1 second, since you're saying that she hosts a YouTube show and she looks sexy.
Stop! You're weird.
No, I'm weird. Our entire male audience does not.
Okay.
Okay.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to expand my image, but I was
It's just a coincidence. It is just a coincidence. Hey, it's William. I love it.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
See, you get the R roll. I never could do that, even in Spanish.
Oh my gosh. We have to clip that and make that like something in an intro now.
I definitely will.
I love it. All right, let's get back to your tears.
Really quick before we move off this print, I love that you showed her distended tendons and her arms kind of in flex holding these guns. It's a really good attention to detail of what holding a gun of actual weight is about.
Yeah, I guessed. Never fired a gun, firearm or anything like that, but I guess you want to make it feel as if they're actual physical objects, and she knows how to use them. Yeah.
Well, you're in the UK, so my condolences, but yes, I've held a fully loaded 9mm, so yes.
I mean, we've all got claymores and katanas, but apart from that.
All right, so I feel like after the stream is over, I'm going to keep you here and make you show us.
This is okay.
Okay, you want to see the swords.
I mean, I kind of do. I'm not going to lie. I definitely got some of the coolest antique swords that I've gotten. I got when I was overseas.
Right.
I mean, you guys have them everywhere. It's this is what I don't understand. You guys have them in every single antique store, and they're usually like piled together, like shoved in a corner, like nobody cares about them. But then if you buy one, they wrap it in like 3 black bags and tell you have to go directly to your car and put it in the trunk.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're walking around with a weapon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't actually have any swords, but probably because when I was a kid, a lot of my friends had swords and bayonets and stuff. They were all kind of like, it was the early 70s, mid 70s, and they were all kind of like the father had brought them home from the war type of thing, So, I know these kids running around with bayonets.
Nice.
It's kind of very weird. So
totally safe environment, I'm sure.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Very different world.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So now we've got the digital only.
I've got there was the Dark Deluxe one with the print. You also get the 2 stretch goals if I'm lucky enough to get there with them, and you'll get digital copies. So the stretch goals, as they stand, are the first one is going to be a 3D comic with the specs, the 3D specs and everything.
I loved those when I was little.
Yeah,
the little blue and red.
Yeah, me too. The kind of like they almost worked, but they were still cool.
Yes, they were kind of crap, but everybody loved them.
Yeah. So if we get to this stretch goal, you'll get a comic which is kind of crap, but you'll love it. So definitely coming your way. So that's the first stretch goal. The next stretch goal is going to be a print of Ailsa Dark fighting Dracula, and then the final stretch goal, which seems very far off, is going to be another comic, which is I publish an anthology comic called Tales of Mystery and Imagination, and I've published 4 issues of that over the last couple of years, and it's going to be a special collection of some of my stories and an original Ailsa Dark story in this comic. So if you go for this featured perk here, you'll get 4 comic books, limited edition print, and whatever else stuff I start throwing in if the campaign starts making a bit more.
Oh, that is awesome. So and I know we're going down your tiers, but you're still in demand. How long are you staying in demand for?
Well, when I first put the campaign up, I put it up for being finished in December. So the way I'm looking at things, everything will be done and dusted in December. I don't think it's a good idea to be sending stuff out a few weeks before Christmas. So probably after the first week of Christmas, that's when things will be getting posted out, and I can say that's definitely when they're going to get posted out, because I've timetabled myself to get everything drawn and finished, so I know I'm going to get it done. So yeah.
Okay, and then I'm trying to see. So when do we hit your stretch goals?
When we get to £2,000, I don't know what that is in dollars. We get the Tatty Bogleman. That's that handsome green chap there with the wee tam o' shanter on. You'll get an A5 comic of his origin story. It's a story that I've done before. It was in my Tales of Mystery magazine, but I'm completely redrawn it so that I can make it work in 3D, and also just so I can make it look a wee bit more polished. So you'll get that as an A5, which is like half the size of the Ailsa Dark comic. So it's just a bit smaller than your traditional American comic would be. And that will have the story in it in 3D, and it'll also have the story in it just as a 2D version of it, just for anybody for whom the specs don't work, because they don't work for everybody. The 3D doesn't work for everybody.
Right, it doesn't for me because of eye dominance. But this is basically like an ash can size, I would say. Yeah,
just pretty much. Just I think it's maybe just a wee bit different dimensions, but kind of like that. And then 2,500, I'm going to do the Ailsa Dark versus Dracula, and I'll draw that on a live stream. But maybe not the whole thing, because that'll be a very long live stream. But I'll maybe get a pencil it out, get it all organised and laid out, and then finish it off on a live stream. And after that, at 3.5, you'll get another complete 36-page A4 comic, which is the Tales of Mystery and Imagination, and that's going to have my adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, an original story of mine called The Wolf Laughed, and an original Ailsa Dark story. And I'm lining somebody else up that I know to join me and do the artwork for that. So that'll be quite.
Fighting in an Escher painting right now?
Yeah, that's the dreamscape. I wanted it to be like a really polished Escher painting with a starscape behind it. Kind of like, that's my homage to the Jim Starlin, Steve Englehart sort of. My computer keeps going to sleep. Sort of a Jim Starlin, Steve Englehart cosmic kind of thing. So that's the idea for that. I kind of wish I hadn't picked that now, because I'm going to have to draw that across quite a few pages. But there was an artist called Massimo Bellardinelli, who in the 70s he drew for a weekly comic here called 2000 AD, and he did a strip that had a kind of setting like that. It was kind of the first time I'd seen a kind of Escher inspired work, and that's always been something that I kind of like thought I'm going to have a wee go at something like that at some point in my life. So fast forward about 40 odd years, and then I did.
Oh, that's really, really cool. By the way, you're less than 1,000 away from that first stretch goal. You're 7. So for all of us Americans here, we're 756, 757 away from unlocking a little bit of nostalgia, which is kind of awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I'd worked out that if I get 18 Dark Deluxes, then it's no problem. That's it sorted. So even if I get like I read about 18 or 19 by the Ailsa Dark 1 and 2 issues, that's getting us to the point where I'm going to be doing that. But I am already remastering it, so it's going to be done and out there at some point in the future, even if it doesn't manage to make it for this particular campaign.
Right, but even if you attach it to 3.
Yeah, maybe something like that, or even further down the line if I do something else, because I want to do something with the Tatty Bogleman character too. He's like, I've got both characters. Ailsa Dark's the light. Well, she might be the darkness. You never know. But the Tatty Bogleman is just pure evil. He's kind of like if you took Freddy Krueger and did dipped him in a vat of whiskey, you would get the Tacky Bogan man.
And give him a different hat.
That's it, a different hat. A kilt that's slightly too big for him.
Well, better too big than too small, because
nobody needs a too small kilt.
Yeah, exactly. If you're dipping Freddy Krueger in whiskey, we don't need to see any of that.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, we keep getting sidetracked, but it's because you have so many cool little things in here, and I don't always go over the campaigns a lot because I want to hear the creator tell me how excited they are about them. And so I didn't spend a lot of time on your stretch goals because I wanted to hear you pitch them. I was like, I'm seeing 3D glasses and I'm already kind of intrigued.
Yeah, no, I've got, I've been doing tests with the 3D. The red works brilliantly in 3D. I'm going to have to work out why this is, because you know how each eye cancels out the colour that's on the page. Mm-hmm. You can never quite, the reason they don't work fully is you can never quite get rid of the green or the blue or whatever you're working with. So I'm just trying different colours of glasses to see which works the best. And like I say, that might be a case of it works the best for me, but maybe not for other people. But either way, it is working. There's definite dimensionality. Is that a word? Dimensionality going on there, you know. So that's...
Absolutely. Shae just got super quiet.
Sorry. I was just trying to last.
Yeah, she mutes when she types because she has a mechanical keyboard that's right near her mic, so she's trying not to inflict it on us.
So I apologize. I'm trying to mute because I don't want to distract from William's pitch.
You'll know when I'm typing because I just go like 2 fingers. Dead fast with the 2 fingers.
Yes. Oh my gosh, William, you're amazing. Okay. Let's finish out your tiers, and then I'm going to start asking you some questions.
Right, okay. We've got Ailsa Dark 1 and 2. That's both issues, signed, digital copies, and all the stretch goals when met. So the only difference there is you don't get that limited edition print. That's the only difference there. Everybody that was involved in getting me to the actual goal in getting the campaign funded also gets the Escher print. So if you scroll right down to near the bottom, you'll see the full Escher print. So everybody there gets that as well.
Kind of this, but not.
Is it way down there now? I keep adding pages when I put them up on Twitter.
I know. I was looking at this to kind of preview it, and
there's a lot of pages.
Yeah, right. Like so much so that my browser doesn't even preload everything. So give me a second. 3D glasses, Shae.
Yay! Oh my gosh.
There we go.
Excited.
There it is. That's the Escher print. So I did that because I'm using that as a cover for the Tales of Mystery. And then I thought as soon as I was getting close to the goal, I did an update and let people know that you'd also be getting that as well if you had backed the campaign. So that'll be going out. And digital backers are going to get a high-res digital copy so they can print out a version of their own if they want to.
Oh, very, very cool.
And it's really great that you're offering all this stuff digital. Is this shipping from Scotland?
It is, yes. I think it's only something like about £12, which is around about $14 or $15. I've kept the shipping really low. I got some comics, stuck them in a box, weighed them in some scales and worked it out. And unless I've made an incredible mistake.
always plan on more international. Because that seems to be what trips up a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine because I've already shipped out the original piece of artwork, the first original piece of artwork, tiers sold, and rather than have the guy wait until I finished the comic, I packaged and sent out the original piece of artwork, and that was pretty much, it went out at the cost I thought it would be. So I think I can do it fairly cheaply at the prices that I'm doing.
Well, good. Yeah. That's really exciting to hear.
So both physical, both digital, all the stretch goals.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Escher.
Well, that's for everybody that's backed it up until it went to in demand.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When it was live. So if you backed it when it was live, then you got that. You're getting the Escher print.
Yeah. Yep. And anybody who bribes me. Yeah.
Shae.
Oh, we'll talk off air. Don't worry. That was already happening. I'm like, all right, William. So what are we gonna offer us?
There's a good chance I'll get a few more printed than I was originally going to get printed. So people will be getting it. Sense. Yeah. The Dark Double was just I'd seen other people, because you look at everyone's campaigns, and some people did. You can buy 2 of them, and it's going to be slightly cheaper that way. So that's up there, just in case.
Right. Well, so there's a lot of reasons that people might do double, because if you're like me and my husband, I like, as much as I share, and I love to share.
You fight for comics in your house?
Yes. No, we each have our own PlayStation. We each have our own comics. Like, it's all separate. And it's like, I'm happy you got yours, but I want mine. So
yeah. I can totally understand that with the comics and books and so on, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and then you also have a lot of people that like to do the resale on eBay when your first issues are done, and then you're starting your next campaign, and everyone's like, well, where's 1 and 2? And you're like, oh, well, I happen to have an extra if you want to pay a markup price on eBay.
Right. Or if you have like an exclusive cover and you offer it elsewhere with a different cover, then that'll really drive up the resale.
Yep, exactly.
Where you say all stretch goals, since it's 2 of everything, are they also getting like double the prints?
Yeah, they'll be getting double the prints. They'll be getting. Originally, I was thinking that's not the case, and then I thought, no, it's got to be the case, because you're buying a copy for everybody. So if there's a prints in there, so that'll be the two
so
of everything.
So it's a true double.
It's a true double. Yeah.
I like that.
Very cool. Good. You've just prevented a tussle in Shae's house.
Yes. Yes, you did. I mean, I would win.
To be honest, throwing in a couple of prints isn't really going to add much to the weight of it, and a couple of extra comics, because they tend to be just a couple of extra pounds or a couple of extra dollars to it.
Right. Well, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people need to kind of take into account when they're looking at all these little extras that you add in. If you're offering a double and you do double that and double the prints, really it costs you a negligible amount, but what it does for your consumer and what it does for your returning customers is that they know that they're going to be taken care of, and that you actually care about them getting their money's worth. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm giving you more prints, because that is at least going to say to them that you care.
Right. It drives up the value.
It does.
Totally.
All right, so let's see here.
But even the people who go for the digital are also going to get digital versions of everything.
Oh, so that's so cool.
You'll get a digital version. You won't get digital 3D glasses. You'll need to get your own, but you will get a digital version of the 3D comic.
You have to go buy your own 3D glasses.
Yeah, I mean, I might have a scan of them that I send to them just as a joke, a cruel joke. Here's a scan of some 3D glasses.
Take a picture of you wearing them and then send that, just your face wearing them.
Yeah, this is what you could have had.
If you would have backed physical, then, but since you didn't, I wore them for you.
Yeah, but I've gone like digital for a few campaigns, because sometimes you'll click on a campaign, you'll go through and you'll see the postage, and you'll just go, I can't afford to back campaigns if that's going to be the postage,
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, and I like digital. I actually read a lot of digital comics, probably more digital these days than physical, and I like the idea of digital as being something that is there that's available with the physical copy, so it complements it.
Right.
I think some people sell themselves short and charge far too little for their digital copies. They kind of look at Comixology and they think they should be charging those kind of prices. I think they should be looking at Amazon and thinking in terms of books. You're not going to find somebody sell a bestseller on Amazon at less than they would in a store. So you should be doing the same thing with your Indiegogo comics when you're putting them out as digital. So I'll just reduce them by a couple of dollars, and I think everybody should do that, because it's you're selling yourself short if you get a digital copy up there for $2 or something, I think.
Right.
Yeah, $2 is pretty outlandish.
Yeah, I've seen a few like that, and it's kind of like no, bump it up a wee bit. People are willing to pay it for the product if it's good.
Well, then you're not even selling. You're not paying the artist. You're not paying the colorist if there is one. You're not paying the letterer, and you're definitely not paying the person that's actually building the PDF for you. So if there is someone separate doing that, but yeah,
not for me. I do everything. So that's it.
Keep costs low.
Yeah, I write it, I letter it, I draw it, I colour it, I design everything. And
so jealous of people like you that do that.
Well, I mean, look at me. I'm only 21 years old, and look at me.
You're so cute.
It's like hold on. Let the stream look at you. Yes, he's only 21.
Yeah.
21 years young.
21 and young as I can be. Yeah.
21 and some mileage.
as he takes another step. Yeah. Why he's 21 and not 20, you see.
This is a Ailsa Dark 1 and 2 and a poster. So it was Niall Scala and Crowdfunding Comics really liked this splash page because he likes werewolves. I think Werewolf by Night is one of his favourite comics, and mentioned that because it's a poster. And so I thought, so it would. So it's a poster. It's A3 size, which is if you took the comic book that I've done and you opened it out and saw like a centre spread in between the centre pages, that's the kind of size of an A3 kind of poster. So it's like a wee mini poster. You get that as well for this perk.
I'm laughing because you're describing something amazing and yet Shae's dog is growling in the background.
Sorry, my dog is a brat sometimes and doesn't know how to be quiet when I'm on stream.
I just thought it was, the perfect moment.
I mean, she does like werewolves, so she's trying to add the ambient sound.
That must be it. I thought it was just fantastic sound effects you guys were having on your show.
We're really high budget here.
Yeah, production quality. Oh my God, that reminds me of the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Paul Rubens has like the ruler stabbed in his shoulder, and he's like, oh
my gosh. All right, are we through your perks, or is there?
I don't know. I think there might be another one. I'm not sure. Oh no, there's a couple. They're gone. Yeah.
Oh, the original.
There's two original artworks. The one that is the pencil drawing for the limited edition print, and the other one I've still to draw, which the fantastic Peter Gilmore bought on Mandy Summer's show a couple of weeks ago there. So that was well chuffed by that. I've still to draw that. It's going to be Ailsa Dark fighting the Tatty Bogle Man.
Nice.
Ooh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Look forward to seeing that. You said Peter Gilmore bought it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I love it when artist by artist work.
Me too. No, it's so good though, because the thing is there's a weird like preconceived notion with a lot of people that like artists don't support each other and don't like each other because it's all competition, and that is just so not true, especially not when you're talking indie comics or Comicsgate or anything like. Yeah, it's all of us are supporting each other, and it's just so cool to see, and I'm really happy that Peter bought it for you. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I decided to use the hashtag, a Comicsgate hashtag, because I'd like so many people were backing the campaign and just been so good about it and sharing it and so on, and I thought, this is pretty cool. So hashtag I'm Comicsgate, so yeah.
I love it. No, that's so great. Well, and the funny thing is Comicsgate, from where a lot of people misconstrue what it is and everything, really all it is people that like indie comics, people that are tired of other people kind of screwing everybody over, like what's been happening with some of the bigger
harassing fans and condemning them online,
right, and
have a quality comic and don't push your political narrative, and that's it. That's comic.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, treat your customers with respect, give a good product, and don't try and push your own anything on anybody else.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, surely. I mean, I've been to conventions and I've sold to people, and I've had people go away, read my comics, come back and give me critiques to my face.
Right.
And a lot of them have been good, but some of them have been like, this is terrible. And then they'll tell me why, they like this or they like that. And you just kind of you take it and you kind of go, thanks very much for, letting me know that and backing my comic and so on. And because who's to know that they might be right. About some things, So I don't. When you've got professionals online, kind of putting people down and whatever. It's a bit weird. Not that I can see any of that because they've all blocked me, but what can you do?
Well, and I mean, that's the thing is, if we're not open for honest discussions and debates about comics and where you can improve, like how do we ever make indie comics what it should be, what everybody wants it to be, and not go down the path of some of the bigger publishers that are getting more concerned about the politics and less about the creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's I read through the first issue of Ailsa Dark again a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, you know what, this is very political if you want it to be, because you can put politics in anything when you read it. It's going to be there for people, and if you decide that you're going to see something, it's there, whether the writers put it there or not. So what I'm trying to do is to create something that has lots of great areas and lots of interesting, well-developed characters, and regardless of what your personal views or opinions are on anything, you will enjoy it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when we all went to see a big movie and you'd go to the pub afterwards, you'd all be talking about it. Your politics, your background didn't come into it. It's just what you thought about the entertainment that you'd seen.
Right. It's like the original Star Trek back in the day, in the late 60s. The messages were there if you were conscious of them, but if not, then it was just, fun and campy and good storytelling.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
At least in my opinion. But I mean, it wasn't heavy-handed, is my point. And that's
Well, I think that's the important part, is that when people in CG are saying don't push your ideals on me, it doesn't mean you can't write a book that talks about politics, or you can't write a book that talks about religion. You absolutely can, but it's when you make it that we're vilifying like all men because all men must be evil, or we're vilifying all of a particular group of individuals simply because I hold a specific viewpoint. That's what people are sick of. That's what people are tired of hearing and being it's like you said, super heavy-handed. Like, if you put it there, let me make my own mind up.
If it's there and it's subtle, it's like you kind of go, okay, I get that's what you think. Yeah, it's the story. Yeah,
exactly.
That involves talent to do that.
Well, that involves good writing, which mainstream is for the most part lacking these days. So
yes, they're more worried about getting an overarching message out than they are about the actual story, the creativity, the world, the characters, the customers.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I read them on Comixology, because most often when I buy a mainstream comic, I never get beyond the second issue. So if it's on digital, you just take it off your device and just you're not reading it again.
Not as much invested, and you don't have anything to shred.
That's it, and it's usually a dollar or two cheaper, So
exactly. Yeah. So you can see if it's going to be something that you want to try and get a physical copy for later. Or actually,
much. Maybe you can go, I'm liking this. I'll buy the trade perhaps when it comes out or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
But I haven't done that in about a year now, I don't think.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Trap.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this book looks really cool. I'm so happy that we had you on. It's been
a blast.
It's a great story. It's got really interesting art. I'm actually very much intrigued, and I love how much nostalgia you've put into this, where you've got the old movie reels and you've got you've kind of mixed what things are like nowadays, where we've got a YouTube hostess, but she's talking about all of the old school movies and things like that, and it's really just a cover for her to go and be super badass and kick ass and take names and it's
totally, and also it gives me an excuse to draw Bela Lugosi, and Tor Johnson in Vampire.
Well, if you're gonna have Ed Wood, why not?
Exactly. So like I say, if this does well, this campaign gets fully funded, and by next October, you'll be seeing the third and perhaps the final issue of this storyline, and then it will be going full on B-movie Ed Wood territory for the second book, which is Bride of the Monster.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's going to have a kind of 1950s seedy Los Angeles feel to it as well.
Nice.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. 50s LA, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, this is a phenomenal project. If you haven't backed or you haven't looked at it, you are seriously wasting your time. You definitely need to go and check out Ailsa Dark. It's way more cool than if you just flip through something and think like, oh, it's another indie comic. Like, you have so many layers in this, and there's so much of the real world that is in this comic. It's such a neat dynamic to see, and I really think that we need to at least get you to that first stretch goal at a minimum.
Yeah, we need to get that 3D comic done. Yeah, definitely.
$757 away. You said that you're going to stay in demand until December-ish, so a little over a month.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be staying in demand till about then, and then as soon as I've finalized the last page on the Ailsa Dark issue 2. I imagine I'll have the Tatty Bogleman done before then, because that's kind of like when I'm a bit tired and just wanting to kind of warm up. I redraw some of the Tatty Bogleman strip for the 3D. So I'm guessing that, like I say, everything will be tied up and sent to print second week in December, definitely, so that I've got them all printed before Christmas, and then ready to go out, missing the Christmas rush. Don't want them all getting lost in the post, and then to get them all out in January, so everybody will have it. By the end of January, everybody should have Ailsa Dark 1 and 2 in their hands, and hopefully the Tatty Bogleman as well.
No, that's phenomenal. So I'm going to say we got at least a month and a half. So we got about a month and a half left to get you to at least your first stretch goal. I want the second one too. So we're definitely going to try and push this and get you to get a lot more eyes on. But this is a really cool kind of throwback nostalgia style with a lot of current stuff in it that I'm really excited for. So definitely go back if you haven't. We're going to make sure that we have the links that are in the what am I going to say? The description. Of course, the description.
They're in the chat twice.
They're all over. I'm putting them in the chat again. So you can't tell me that you don't know how to get it if you're going to be lazy. It's right there for you. Definitely go back. Thank you so much, William, for coming on. You were such a freaking pleasure. This was great. It was so
thanks, guys. This has been good fun. Yeah.
All right.
Shae, are you skipping your questions?
I am, unless you want to. Do you got questions?
I just have a couple.
Go.
Okay. So since there are, vampires, werewolves, monsters in this book, and that's kind of drawing from, the old horror that she shows on her channel, are there aliens?
No, that'd just be daft.
That'd be too far.
No, it's not. I never actually thought about aliens. I think there's more likely something that would be perceived as being alien in Ailsa Dark's world, because the way I'm seeing it is that it's a world where there may be different dimensions, but as far as other worlds are concerned, they're that far away. We've not reached them yet, and they've not reached us. So. But there might be something in another dimension that would be perceived by us to be alien.
Interesting.
That's the best way.
That's so 50s sci-fi / horror right there. Another dimension.
Yeah, that's it's pretty much. All I do when I'm not working is watch Quatermass and old 50s B movies. And 70s Hammer movies as well. That kind of stuff.
Nice. And my only other question was, can I borrow this page? Because it says zombie on it, so I'm just thinking about putting Shae's name right here.
It's your thing. That's go for it.
Oh my god!
Ailsa has a poster of Shae in the background.
That is terrible.
You're welcome, Shae.
Oh, thanks. Just interjected me in anybody else's project.
I might, color replace her hair a little bit. Little red.
Okay.
Just saying. I love how you have like the Adam Post red curtains in this shot too. I know it wasn't intentional, but it's kind of funny.
It's so good.
She's a YouTuber with red curtains in the background.
Yeah, if I'd seen her in post before doing that page, then I would have probably changed the chaise longue to a kind of like an orange couch or something, as well, just to kind of like.
Oh, I love it. No, this is a really fun, really cool looking project, and I'm really, really excited to see you hit your stretch goals. I can't wait to see you do 3 and 4 as well. This is going to be such a fun project, and I'm really happy that you're here and pushing for all of this. This is super cool.
That's great. Thanks.
All right. Well, I think you are officially now our longest that we've had on because there was just so much cool stuff to talk about.
We can't have the chat here without asking them for questions, so I'm going to open
sorry,
up the
chat,
floor.
do you have questions? If the chat has questions, that would be wonderful. So mean, dang.
No, I'm just saying you're skipping your turn because we're at 55 minutes, but I gotta pay homage to the chat because they showed up.
That is very true.
We love you guys.
We do. We appreciate.
Since I'm not on camera.
There you go.
Thank you.
We appreciate all of you guys coming and hanging out in the chat and engaging, and seriously, like, we appreciate having William on. This is especially because it's so late for you, and I know that for you, you're like, it's okay. It's Saturday going into Sunday. It's fine.
Yeah, I think my neighbours are having a fight just now, so that keep me awake anyway.
And Alasmat says that he's backing it right now, and Captain F Head is saying that he might back it again.
Yep.
That's that pint of whiskey that he's drinking. That's what's affecting him.
Let the whiskey do its thing. It's fine.
Drunk Indiegogo is completely valid.
So the only thing that Cappy has is he wants to know how you doing, Wooly.
Well, I'm sitting here in my bucket, so I'm doing fine. That's a reference that the captain will get, but nobody else will get that.
We're going to leave it at that.
I have to ask, are you drinking whiskey or are you drinking scotch?
Well, I'm drinking Scotch whiskey. Yeah, okay. I'm drinking 16-year-old malt Scotch whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Look at you being fancy.
I'm jealous.
I had a Pepsi.
Oh, my God. I'm having $9 store vodka.
I drink bourbon now and then if I need a mixer, but that's about it.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I don't think that our chat has any other questions. I'm super happy that we had you on, and definitely before you're done and close out, we'd love to have you on again to do an update and see where you are.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool. All right. Well, with that, make sure that you go and back Ailsa Dark. Thank you to everybody who's going to be watching this on replay. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later.
Bye.